typography. We're in week 2, and we've got a guide that you're going to be producing. So here's your activity typographic guide part 1. When you open it up, you're going to download it and open it up. It is in D2L, and this is what we're going to look at right away. So this thing has, if I go down, I've got 4 artboards, and you're going to be working, and this is going to be your activity, going here and completing everything. I'm going to zoom in, okay, to look at the first item in here. Okay, before you do anything, I need you to rename this. So you're going to do to File, Save As, and put your first or your last name in front of the guide. It helps me tremendously because I download everything at once and everything's called the same same name. I can't do that. So this is to make sure you get graded on your work and there's no error on my behalf. Okay. So in assignments, I'd have week 2, put Becker Type Guide part 1 here. Again, rename it before you do anything. Okay. Just let the defaults go through. So now you're in your file, Becker Type Guide part 1. Let's take a look at Illustrator a little bit. You're going to learn a little bit something new today. Okay, so we worked in the paragraph panel and the character panel. The next one is going to be the layers panel. And why is this important? Not everything on here is able to be selected. So let's take a look at how this file is set up. Clicking on the layers panel, there are eyeballs that if you turn things off and on, it depends on what's on the layer, okay, as far as what you can see and turn off and on. Headers and lines, this is how I've got it set up. It is locked. You cannot select it, so it's locked, okay? Leave it that way to keep this nice and clean, please, okay? Anatomy and ruler, there are some things in here. If I turn this off, I've just got this set up on this layer again. It is locked, so you can't accidentally click on something and move things, okay? There's text that is locked as well. So some of this copy that I don't want you to modify cannot be selected, okay? So nothing here is selectable because it's done on the text lock area. So these are locked on purpose. They're created in layers, so everything's, again, organized. Very, very important. All your work, every program is organized. The layers are named. Now the notes in orange, you can eventually either delete them or you can just, turn them off, whatever you want to do. These 2 items are available for you to work on. Notes in orange, okay, if I click here, it selects everything that's in orange, okay? Student work, if I click on this little dot, it gives you the ability to see what you can modify, okay? So let's go ahead and go in here and see how this works out. So anatomy, you're going to go through the videos in D2L. Maybe we should go back and look at that real quick. Okay, so in guide for week 2, there's going to be your learning resources. Make sure you read this. There's a web page about anatomy. Ding, ding, ding. That should give you a lot of information. You've got a little bit on a textbook you look through, and the graphic design foundations. Chapter 2, language to type. You're going to be going through here and look at here. Here's a ascender. Here's a descender. So all the information is available within week 2 to finish this out. Okay? So make sure you go and look at your resources. And again, every LinkedIn Learning video that you're assigned is going to be down here. Chapter review. Chapter 1, there's only one chapter here again to work with. And the first week you completed one item, one chapter. You're going to open it up and you're going to continue adding to that text document each week for every chapter that is assigned. Okay, but you only submitted it on week 1. You're not going to submit all the chapter reviews until they're all completed. Okay, so typographic guide, going back to this one, back to Illustrator, and you're going to modify. Well, where's the ascender? Where's the ascender line? That type of thing. Let's look at the easy one. Descender, descender line. Here's descender line. You're going to just put it, you're modifying or not modifying the information to make sure you know what all these colored items are about. So I believe this is going to be the bowl. Okay, so you're just taking these elements here, this copy. This copy has been outlined, it's not text, so it's definitely readable. Okay, so that's anatomy. Typeface classifications. If this copy is, highlighted with a color, probably I think it's orange, I think usually, it means that font's not there, but you're going to change it anyhow. So the element you can't choose is geometric, handwritten, humanist, but the font name and the letter forms you can choose. So find a decorative font. Okay, how are we going to do that? Let's click on font name, click on your character. Let's go to, where did I see? Oh, the filters. Pulling this out again. All right. If I click on the font and I want to go to filters, where is decorative? There was one earlier. There is our decorative fonts, typefaces. I can click here. I can choose one. Let's say I go to Broken Script. Okay, I'm going to choose on Broken Script. Come on, stay in there. Okay. Then I've got to go and type it. This is Broken Script. And then I'm going to change this too. Broken Script. Okay. So you'll go through every one of these too. Again, these are not selectable. These are like just little headlines of what you need to do. But then both the bottom and top will be modified into the geometric font typeface. Handwritten, okay? Go through the whole thing. Serif versus sans serif. Serif. Oops, I cannot speak. Okay, serif. You can't select these items. If you're in layers, you'll be able to see something here for a second. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. Let's pull it back in here. Okay, layers. Student work. I'm on student work. I'm going to come to the text tool. I'm going to click right in here, make a text frame, and then type in the definition of a serif. Okay, so a serif typeface is blank, 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 blank. Go ahead and type this in. Prefer to all your copy in here is all the same. I'm going to clear all. I'm going to go Myriad Pro, whatever you want to type it in, just so you're going to add in here and add a description of here. And then you're going to go through here and put in 3 serif font samples. If you want to use the orange and just go through here and, okay, so what's a serif font? Well, here's a serif font, Georgia. I'm going to go in here and type in Georgia. Then I'll go and click down here and I'll go ahead and choose another one. Rockwell. It's a flat. There we go. Going down and clicking in here. I know what I never used that before. April. Okay. I'm going to select it all and we're going to make it all black so it's very visible and readable. And then we're going to go to colors. So here's my color panel. And I'll click on black. You can also go to swatches. So let's go and take a look at this. So color and swatches. I like swatches better. Here's your fill color to black. Okay, if I click on a different color, kind of hard to read yellow, right? So make sure it's selected and then click on black. So there's your 3 typefaces, samples. Okay, what is a typeface versus what is a font? And yes, I can get into a bad habit of just saying font and typeface, they go hand in hand. They don't mean the same thing, okay? So again, definition down here about a typeface, and then you can go through here and list 5 typefaces. Okay. Okay, typography guide, tonal weight. This is a very good examples is in the video. A lot of these are in the LinkedIn video that you need to go through, okay? But this is dark, using the provided text only. So this is the text you're going to use in every box. You're going to use the same font and size, must be used in each square, modifying the leading to create tonal weight. So what is the weight? So how dark is it? Okay, if we're just doing tonal weight by leading is a space in between the letter forms, the lines of copy, okay? So if this is going to be dark, now I would choose a font and choose a size because it's going to be really, really tough here. Maybe you want to modify this a little bit. But I'll copy and paste, pull it in here, and let's do light, okay? Let's do light. Okay, so light, doing a select all, closing here. We're going to be in the character panel. This is 15. Now if I use my leading and I put 40 in here, okay, I want this really light, so I'm going to just keep adding. That is your tonal weight. This box is going to be heavier than this. So that's an example of tonal weight. Just working with leading. Again, in your character panel, here's your font size, all right, and here's the leading. Again, it's a spacing between line, baseline to baseline. Okay, so modifying your leading between lines of copy to do tonal weight. In the typography guide, I want you to take a look at this. You may have to do some Googling a little bit to kind of get through here, but I do kind of want you to, again, define points, picas, the M, the N, and then what's the difference between the M dash, the N dash, and the hyphen? What are they? And then fill in the blanks. There are how many points to a pica? There are how many picas to an inch? There are how many points to an inch? Taking a look up here. Let's look at this scale. You do not have to use these rulers anymore. When I was in school, this was like you live and die by these things. Because everything was on the board. We didn't have a computer when we first started, believe that or not. I know, crazy. But you're looking at type sizes, okay? So look at here for a second. Here's your point sizes from 6 going all the way up to 72. And you can see right here, 72 points equals 1 inch. So a 72 point size letter size is 72, right? 72 points is a full inch. 70 points to an inch. Let's look at this guide a little bit more. On this side, we're at inches. So here's an inch. You know these rulers, right? If we looked at, I'm going to have to use this. If I make an inch here, there's an inch. There are how many picas per inch? Okay. You can just measure that out. There's an inch, and there's your picas. Okay. And this is just making rule lines. If you're making a hairline versus a 6-point line, your 6-point line is the same width as an E in 6-point type. So this ruler just loved this ruler when I was in school and for several years afterwards. So you're going to go through and define points, picas, the M, the N, and the hyphen. What are those three things? I'll go ahead and get you an explanation here. So if I've got a text, okay, there's a hyphen. This is awfully small. Let's make this type huge. Okay, so this is just a hyphen, right? If I'm typing a letter in hyphen, yes, no. Whoops. Yes, that's not a good way to do it, but there you go. There's your hyphen. I'm going to double click or copy and paste these. Here's an N dash, and here's an M dash. Okay, and you're going to explain what these are, and you should have plenty of ways to find this out. Okay, you've got your book, you've got the videos, and you've got the internet. But that's the three things. What are they? There's your samples you're going to put down there. And then you're going to put some samples of your own, even though they're up here, point sizes. So we're going to do some samples. I guess we should do, shoot, I got to redo this. This should be several different point sizes, okay? Let's do 3 or 4. I'll have to modify this, but again, these items you can either move off the board or you can delete. I'd probably not delete them, just in case you need to go back to them and see what you might have done if you want to double check your work. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing. That's the third artboard. This is just your information about, here's your typeface, Helvetica, the weight of it, the size 12 on 14.4 leading. Again, this is from baseline to baseline, and we'll get into tracking and kerning here next. But this is just kind of working with the character panel at this point. So you'll have 3 boards to go through, artboards, to go ahead and modify and create examples and label.